I'm playing catch up with it, but the last couple of nights, I've been watching it. The NBA incorporated the in-season tournament because a lot of people in person, let's say the sponsors, because they're endorsing a lot of money. A lot of people complaining about these players weren't playing. They was resting, taking nights off. The games didn't seem important until about March. So it was hurting TV ratings, and a lot of people was complaining about the games not being as competitive. A lot of the games, the guys not getting on the court. So what Adam Silver did was take a European style, because this is something they've been doing in Europe for a long time, and they brought it into the NBA to try to encourage more competitiveness during the season. So what they're doing, they do pool play, they do group play. They break the teams up into different groups. They play certain games that go toward the in-season tournament. And next week, the top teams from each group and some wild cards, they're gonna play in the semifinals and the quarterfinals. Then they're gonna be in Vegas to play in the semifinals. Next week gonna be the tournament finishes. The winner of the tournament, everybody on the team gets $500,000. So that's the motivation to get these guys to play harder.
Okay. So what about the point spread and you got to win by the most points and all that type of stuff, which makes teams keep their better players in even though the game is won already.
Right. Now, like last night, a lot of that was going on. Like your team, the Nets finished group play at 3-1. I think they're 3-1. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's what they finished, yeah.
There was a bunch of those teams 3-1, but they didn't make the cut because of the points, because they were using the points to differentiate like ties and stuff. So teams last night, a lot of those teams was blowing teams out so that they can add to their point total to go toward their seedings. So my thing with that is, like you said, with the point spread and getting the points and all that, so they can differentiate when it comes down to ties, is you want to talk about sportsmanship. And me personally, I don't get all caught up in the sportsmanship. If you don't like something, do something about it. However, don't promote and say you're all about sportsmanship, a gentleman's handshake, whatever you want to call it, and then you start putting the white flag out there when you up by 20 points and resting your starters, but then you promoting a tournament like this to where for you to make it in, you almost at the last game of the season got to blow somebody out. Embarrassing. Because that's what happened with Chicago last night and Boston. And Billy Donovan got upset with Joe Mazzulla from Boston, the head coach, because he kept his starters in all the way to the end of the game because he was trying to get those points to where he would be able to get to the next round. And the man came out and he apologized for leaving those players in. But what is there to apologize? Those are the rules of the game. But my thing is, you can't be crying if these guys sitting here giving 100 and somebody gets hurt. If somebody gets hurt because they up by 20-something points, now it ain't cool with these guys taking off back-to-backs. You know what I mean? You got to play tomorrow night, you take the night off. And then you got people going out, you making, what, $50, $60 million a year, and you got cats coming to pay for these tickets and you don't show up to their city. But it's a difference when you show up and you give 100 and you just better than the other team, and then you got the fourth quarter with 10 minutes, 5 minutes left in the game, you take the best players out because what's the purpose of being in the game unless you pad the stats? So when they get hurt, there's nothing to be crying about if they get hurt because you're promoting this.